Welcome to this 100th edition of County Report this week. We want to start by thanking you, our viewers, for watching. And now we bring you news from the Office of the County Executive. It's that fiscal time of the year, and Executive Leggett unveiled his proposed FY13 Operating Budget. Optimistic about the future and addressing current challenges, County Executive Ike Leggett announced his recommended $4.56 billion operating budget for fiscal year 2013. A budget that restores some services cut back, fully funds education, and brings increases in public safety.
This is a great budget for Montgomery County, but we can do better if we maintain our spending postures. The increases that I've outlined are increases that are strategically planned. It should not be an excuse for us to build on and to add beyond this point. It should not be an excuse for us to go back to unsustainable spending habits of the past. We have to resist that because we want to be in a flex position, in a position to ensure that we have the services that are provided and needed for our citizens.
A $50.7 million increase for the Montgomery County Public Schools, completely funding the Board of Education tax-supported request at the maintenance of effort level.
Appreciative that the county executive continues to support education. Everybody knows how important education is to the Montgomery County brand, and I appreciate the fact that County Executive Leggett has fully funded our MOE budget.
On the public safety side, the fire department will see a 9.2% increase, and the police department budget increases by almost 7%, which includes 46 additional police officers.
People are going to see more uniformed police officers on the street, and we're going to have more detectives to follow up on cases. We're targeting the areas that have seen increases in crime and activity. Crime is down countywide, but there are areas in the county that have seen increases, and that's where we're going to target these resources.
The executive also focused on restoring funding for senior and youth programs.
The county executive has made an investment in an enhanced positive youth development initiative that includes things like a summer youth employment program, an expanded Excel Beyond the Bell program, which is an after-school model at the middle school level. And we're also going to be able to expand weekend and evening activities to make sure that our youth are engaged in something positive during the hours they're the most at risk. And so we're thrilled with the budget that's been presented, as well as the senior initiative too, because we're going to be able to add effectively the 5th senior center program in the county with the addition of the White Oak Community Center.
The County Council has to approve the operating budget by June 1st. To view the entire budget, visit montgomerycountymd.gov. Council President Roger Berliner and County Executive Ike Leggett have joined forces and have written a letter to the State Delegation expressing their deep concern for pending budgetary issues. Both the Executive and Council President have accepted that some of the pension costs will be shifted, but say the school board should share some of the costs.
We don't believe that we should have to spend more than half of what normal cost is, which is about $22 million, and we think the school system ought to share in this. Actually, the school system is the one that controls teacher salaries, not the county. So we're stepping forward with a compromise proposal, recognizing that this proposal has a lot of momentum, and notwithstanding that we have fought it as part of the Stop the Shift campaign, we want to give our delegates something to rally around that hopefully can mitigate the impact on our community.
The redevelopment of Wheaton includes creating a vibrant, transit-oriented mixed-use community that will help to spark revitalization throughout Wheaton's new downtown. The executive's most recent capital improvements program includes $42 million for the redevelopment of Wheaton. As Councilmember Nancy Navarro tells us, most of Wheaton's residents and businesses support this new plan.
The Fed Committee feels, and our staff, council staff feels, that that proposal, which would deliver the county in Wheaton a office building, a really wonderful plaza, and an opportunity to begin to stimulate redevelopment, which hopefully will then lead to private investment as well. Some things are already happening in Wheaton. The Patriot Center, this is going to be really exciting, residential with Safeway on the bottom. There's already momentum. So I think that the important thing and the most important part for residents to understand is that the commitment has been made. Actually, the Fed Committee has included more money, so I think it's about $52 million. Something is going to happen in Wheaton, because the time for Wheaton is now. And what we're deciding on is just the approach, but we're excited about the prospect.
Primary elections are just around the corner, scheduled to take place on Tuesday, April 3rd. But voters have access to the polls before that day by early voting. Here's more on how early voting works.
Across the nation, more and more jurisdictions are offering early voting as an option to voters, and Montgomery County is no different. On March 24th through the 29th, from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., early voting will take place here in the county. Ultimately, as more people choose this method to cast their ballots, the number of polling places will be reduced on Election Day, resulting in tremendous savings in both personnel and supplies. The idea of early voting was initiated in Maryland for the 2010 gubernatorial elections in an attempt to provide greater opportunities for citizens to vote. Unlike absentee voting, where voters may cast a paper ballot in advance of Election Day to be tabulated in the days following the election, early voting gives the voter an opportunity to vote on the same equipment used in the polling places, but at a time and location of their choice. Following the close of early voting, the voting machines are returned to the Board of Elections, where they remain under tight security until Election Day. Beginning at noon on Election Day, the tabulation of votes cast during early voting begins, and they are released to the public as soon after 8 p.m. as possible on Election Day. First-time voters in Montgomery County may be required to show proper identification. A driver's license or official document including the voter's name and address are acceptable.
The Montgomery County Board of Elections welcomes Montgomery County voters to vote early voting. Early voting takes place through 6 consecutive days, from the 24th of March through the 29th. Montgomery County registered voters are invited to go to one of 5 centers. There are the Bauer Community Recreation Center, the Germantown Recreation Center, the Praisner Recreation Center, the Silver Spring Civic Building, and the Executive Office Building.
If you choose to vote during the early voting period, check the wait time prior to leaving your home or office. Voters in Montgomery County may quickly check the wait time at each of the 5 early voting centers by visiting our website, www.777vote.org, or call 240-777-VOTE.
The Shaping Our Future series continued this week at the Council with a briefing on the growing senior population. Council President Roger Berliner and Vice President Nancy Navarro announced the creation of the series as a way to capitalize on new opportunities and plan for the future.
Well, one of the things that we're doing is we're asking our county people to respond. But what I actually love about this series is it allows us to think. So much of the time we're in a reactive mode, and this is trying to get us to step back, see the larger trends happening in our county today, and to reflect on them.
I think we probably will hear again how the metropolitan region is beginning to move a little bit away from the federal presence and just only counting on that federal presence, that we have to start planning right now for the workforce needs of the future. We need to take into consideration the demographic changes of the county, the aging population, the very diverse community that we have, the potential with our young people. How do we align that with our school system and our institutions of higher education, as well as aligning that with some of the redevelopment projects, investments that we're making in biotech and life science, for example. So I think it's important to have these types of presentations because they're helping all of us, the executive side, the council, the Board of Education, everybody understand what this vision needs to include. And it is a new vision, we're dealing with this new normal, but I think it's an exciting vision, and Montgomery County is poised very well to succeed.
When we come back, we take you to an awards ceremony where our fire rescue and law enforcement officers were honored. And we'll tell you about a new parking garage that just opened.
It's called PEG Television, and it's an important part of your community. PEG, or Government and Community Channels, provide all citizens with free information about local community events and what's going on in Montgomery County. It's our window on the world of diversity that makes Montgomery County a great place to live. It's the arts. It's the latest in local news and culture, and it's about staying up to date on today's issues. The county supplies the fiber optic network that links most public schools and county government offices. But the Comcast franchise agreement that supports these PEG channels is ending. you have an important voice in future funding. Helping the county determine what types of services you want to see on cable and online in the coming decade. The more information you provide in the upcoming focus groups, the better the franchise will be for all residents. So come on out to any of the Comcast forums in March and make your voice be heard.
Welcome back to this 100th edition of County Report This Week. I'm Lorna Virgili. County police officers and firefighters were honored for going above and beyond the required call of duty during the 38th Annual Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce Public Safety Awards Luncheon. The honorees were awarded the Silver and Bronze Medals of Valor as well as Community Service Awards. These awards recognize acts of bravery involving personal risk, such as rendering emergency medical care to a wounded suspect in a crime scene during a robbery hostage situation at the Capital One Bank on University Boulevard. Another recognition for assisting a mentally disturbed and suicidal man, and for fundraising for the Special Olympics Maryland. Congratulations to all. And now we go to Officer Rebecca Innocenti to bring us an update on the shooting that took place in Kensington. Officer?
Thank you, Lorna. On March 13th at approximately 9:39, our 911 call center received multiple calls for the report of a shooting and a female lying in the roadway at the intersection of Connecticut Avenue and Knowles Avenue in Kensington. Our officers arrived on scene and located a female in the roadway deceased of an apparent gunshot wound. Witnesses stated that they observed the male suspect driving down the street. The female victim was in the passenger seat. He shot her and then pushed her onto the roadway. Investigators developed a man by the name of Philip Gilberti as a suspect, as they believed he and the victim, identified as Heather McGuire, were involved in a relationship with each other. Police began to actively look for the suspect, and they received information that he may be in a residence in the 800 block of Fordham Street in Rockville. At approximately 10:30 that night, police made entry into that residence and located the suspect deceased of an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Unfortunate series of events. Thank you, officer, for that update. Now we go to Tom Pogue from the county's Department of Transportation for an update on a new parking garage. Here's Tom.
Hi, I'm Tom Pogue, Community Relations Manager for the Department of Transportation. Here's an update from Montgomery County. A new public parking garage has opened in downtown Silver Spring. It's located below the Galaxy Apartments being constructed on 13th Street. The garage is part of a public-private partnership that created a 195-unit apartment building. A former county parking lot is part of an assemblage of land on which the project is located. The project includes both an underground garage for Galaxy residents and a 160-space public garage owned and operated by the county. The Galaxy Apartments were built by RST Development in collaboration with the county's Housing Opportunities Commission, the Department of Housing and Community Affairs, and the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development. Parking rates at the new garage will be 75 cents an hour for short-term parking and 60 cents an hour for long-term parking of more than 4 hours. You may also use a parking convenience sticker. To view all your county parking options in Silver Spring, visit our website at montgomerycountymd.gov/parking. We're working to keep you moving.
When we come back, you will meet students who received scholarships based on their leadership skills. And another young man rocks with electric guitar. We'll be right back. Welcome back to this 100th edition of County Report This Week. I'm Lorna Virgili. Thanks for joining us. What do you get when you mix art with science, history, and some serious fun? It is the Big Draw, an annual school-wide event at North Chevy Chase Elementary School.
Students at North Chevy Chase Elementary School are wild about their Big Draw Day. Armed with donated sketch pads and creativity, students spend their day learning about drawing.
Now this is a gesture drawing, so guess what?
Now in its 5th year, the Big Draw brings in artists, professionals, as well as experts from the Smithsonian, the Corcoran, and other area museums to work with students using different art forms and techniques.
So the trick of Chinese brush painting is to make sure you have a point.
This hands-on learning experience shows students how the art of drawing is used in many career fields, to include architecture, botany, graphic design, and the music industry.
Is everybody drawing what they're listening to?
I'm making the art for the cover of a CD. I thought it sounds kind of African, so I thought of the drums.
The visiting artists share their knowledge, passion, and talents with the students.
What kind of stamp are you designing?
If you ask a group of kindergartners how many of you are artists, every child raises their hand. At each grade you go up, fewer and fewer kids raise their hand, but the artists who come to the Big Draw each year help reinstill faith in the children that they too can be an artist and that there are many different ways to be an artist.
The big wow factor is that students will see the importance of art and we're integrating art throughout the curriculum.
It's a snake, and the snake is shaped like an S.
Students worked on a variety of projects that blended art with language arts, math, and the sciences.
It's really cool that we're using art and science together.
The Big Draw also allows students to use their observation skills as they partake in new experiences and have good old-fashioned fun.
It's no secret Montgomery County is a community full of talent, but Susan Kennedy caught up with one young man who plays the electric guitar like it's nobody's business.
When Nate Foley was just 4 years old, he told his parents he wanted to play the electric guitar. At first, he says, they didn't take him seriously.
I just wanted to play the electric guitar specifically, not the acoustic or anything, just electric.
After getting his first guitar for his 7th birthday, Nate Foley spent hours listening to music from all genres and began to play music by ear. It was then his father Maurice knew it was time to invest in lessons.
He had the energy level that we knew had to be challenged into something. We didn't have to do anything to really encourage him in music. It was something that he always wanted to do.
Today, Nate is a phenom of sorts. This guitar prodigy is an 8-time winner of the Apollo Theater's Amateur Night, something that's never been done before.
I realized that I was starting to get good after I did Amateur Night at the Apollo. When I was 12 or 13, that's when that was. And when I won that, when I won for 2008, I was like, oh, okay, so people like this, so maybe I should focus some more. So then that's when I really started focusing on the instrument and my own style and what I wanted to do with it.
It's hard to believe when you hear Nate Foley play the guitar. He's just a teenager, but this Blair High School senior has a groove of his own. Nate studies at the Levine School of Music at Strathmore, and as part of the Artist in Residence program, was given the opportunity to perform 2 concerts at the mansion. He played with his fusion band, FLLD, and used the show to announce the release of his 2nd album.
He's obviously talented, but talent only takes you so far. What propels you forward and allows you to reach your highest potential is hard work.
Eric Ulrich has been Nathan's guitar instructor since he was 9 years old. He says by watching and listening, Nate has been able to develop his own unique voice.
So it takes a commitment, a daily commitment, and a big commitment of your time.
I'm not a regular high schooler, and I don't try to be a regular high schooler. You know, I'm pretty focused on the music thing. So pretty much when I'm not practicing or gigging, I'm researching about, I'll either be watching other players on YouTube, or I'm researching different equipment, or I'm doing my homework. So I'm pretty focused.
Foley says he calls himself a soul guitarist because he tries to communicate to people's spirits and souls through his music. This year, he received 3 nominations from the Washington Area Music Awards and took home the award for New Artist of the Year. This 17-year-old says he is ready to move on to college to study popular and commercial music. Maurice Foley says Nate's path has been paved in a way they could have never imagined.
A lot of what we do is just trying to prepare him so that when he leaves the house, he's able to take on all the responsibilities, the business side, the professional side, and also have the kind of character that you really need, not just to be successful in music, but just to be successful in life.
And Nate's dreams? Well, should we just say, move over, Jimi Hendrix?
Well, my dreams are, I want to go to the Grammys next year, and I want to win a Grammy before I'm 22. So those are my 2 big goals.
I'm Susan Kennedy for County Report This Week.
Councilmember Hans Riemer took a moment to recognize those Montgomery County students who were awarded Posse scholarships this year. 15 county students were among those selected. The Posse Foundation looks for students who have exhibited outstanding leadership qualities in their school and community.
This is like an amazing program. It's a dream come true. Since the end of my junior year, I found out about Posse, and it was a dream for me to win the scholarship. And like I just couldn't believe it the night or the afternoon that I got the phone call. It was probably one of the best days of my life. So, thank you.
For pitbull lovers, do not miss the opportunity to adopt a sweet female named Avery. Here's Kathy Stanhope from the Humane Society in our Pet of the Week segment.
Hi, this is Kathy Stanhope at the Montgomery County Humane Society with your Pet of the Week. And today we are here with Avery. She is a black and white pit bull. And some people think the words pit bull sound scary. Well, this is the least scary pit bull you're ever going to want to meet in your life. She is a pussy cat. She lives to chase the tennis ball. She will do anything to chase the tennis ball. She is very affectionate, very enthusiastic. In fact, she's so enthusiastic about life that we're recommending that she go to a home with kids 10 and older. Not that she would be dangerous or mean, just that she is a pretty good-sized dog and she does like to jump a bit. So she could use a little obedience training, but not too much. She knows sit and stay, and she comes when she's called. Avery is a very good dog. You definitely want to come down and meet her. She's about 2 years old. She's not currently spayed, but she will be spayed upon adoption, and she's really looking for a home. The pit bulls sometimes are the hardest to place. And it really breaks everybody's heart here because so many of these pit bulls are just wonderful animals. Do you remember Petey and the Little Rascals, who was so good with all those kids? Well, he was 100% pit bull, and he was a sweetheart, and so is this one. So come on down to the shelter on Rothgeb Drive in Rockville, right off of Goody, and visit Avery, or give us a call at 240-773-5967, or visit us on the web at mcumane.org. You definitely want to take Avery home with you.
When we come back, we talk with a fire chief about smoke detectors and saving lives. And we'll show you how to grow a tree from a seedling. We'll be right back.
After a vote by the entire campus community, MC has selected new official school colors: purple, silver, black, and white. A new mascot will also be named soon, as voting is currently underway. The new colors and mascot are all part of MC's new One College initiative. Patrick Beldio, sculptor, philosopher, and teacher, will speak at MC's Athenaeum Symposium on Wednesday, March 21st on the Germantown campus. Beldio will discuss the future of art, and the event is free and open to the public. MC will host its annual Holocaust commemoration on March 27th in the Theater Arts Arena on the Rockville campus. This year's ceremony features 2 Montgomery County survivors who will share their experiences. The event is free and open to the public. For more information about the endless possibilities at your community college, visit our website.
Welcome back to this 100th edition of County Report This Week. I'm Lorna Virgili. Montgomery County firefighters are reminding residents that as we all changed our clocks, it is the perfect time of the year to check and replace the batteries in smoke alarms and carbon monoxide detectors.
We always want to, all the residents always want to make sure they check their batteries, make sure the smoke detector obviously is working on a monthly basis, but also if it's older than 10 years old, the smoke alarm, make sure it's replaced. Local hardware stores carry them. However, if county residents aren't able to get to the hardware store or need some help, contact the fire department. We'll come out. As already been mentioned, 311 is just a small contact away. They'll get in touch with us. We'll come out and help the installation, the check of it, even put a battery in if that's all that's needed.
If you need assistance with fire escape planning or smoke alarms, call 311 to schedule a free evaluation by fire department representatives. Now, with warmer weather, we start working on the yard and garden. Our friends at Brookeside Gardens are going to show us how to grow a tree from a seedling.
Hi, I'm Phil Normandy from Brookeside Gardens in Wheaton, Maryland. We're in a typical homeowner's small backyard where there are many, many lessons to be learned. Have you ever tried starting a tree from a tiny seedling? Perhaps one you got from the Arbor Day Foundation or your kid brought home from school. What to do when it miserably fails? It is growing, it is alive, but it certainly has suffered trauma, and that's a tiny little thing. And therein lies the problems. If you have pets or wild rabbits or even deer or a clumsy husband, oftentimes these things can be lost in the everyday shuffle of homeowner activities. This homeowner has put around this little seedling a sturdy wired cage that she made herself, has anchored it to the ground, as you can see, so it's pretty sturdy if the dog bumps up against it, and this will allow the tree to grow unmolested until it gets tall enough and big enough around that rabbits won't get to it, because rabbits actually don't bump into these trees. They tend to cut them off. They tend to eat them. And if the tree's been in the ground for a year or less, it might not survive the munch. This will straighten up, and eventually from a tiny acorn, this mighty oak will grow with a little bit of help from its owner.
As we've been mentioning throughout the show, this marks our 100th episode. Many thanks to the staff that makes this program possible as we bring you news and information about what is happening around the county. And now you may also follow us on Facebook. With that, we close this edition. Join us at this time every week for a look at what's going on inside Montgomery County. I'm Lorna Virgili, and thank you for watching.